There's a service station down the road from the house here that I go in pretty much every day, and it's not full service. They don't have any hot food in there of any kind. It's a place to get a cold drink, and I scratch off, and so I go in there and I get my Dr. Pepper and my Reese's peanut butter cup, and if you wanted a can of snuff or something like that, and the attendant would hand you that from behind the counter, or a scratch off, or a pack of cigarettes, or whatever, But places, just you run them, it's less than a run of the mill. It's kind of a dump. It really is. But lo and behold, sitting right there on the counter, just below the plexiglass that's suspended from the ceiling since COVID, is a tip jar. And even stranger than that thing fills up by about 10:30 every morning. I don't know what they're tipping for, but it got me to thinking about all these people who expect tips now who never did expect tips before, and that's kind of strange. Everywhere you go, they try to shame you into giving a little bit more than what you spent just so they can have some of yours, I mean, if I go in the service station and spend $6, I don't want to give the attendant $1 just because he wanted one of my dollars. I'd like for everybody I passed on the street every day to give me $1, but that's a stupid thing to expect. So anyway, I got to thinking about these tips and everything, and I remember back when I was a kid, when I first even learned about what a tip was. I was little, probably 4, and we'd eat at some catfish restaurant over somewhere near Kannapolis, North Carolina, and we were leaving, and there was some money laying on a table. It was probably, like I said, I was 4. I was a toddler, and well, there's a table that's empty and there's money laying on it. I'm like, hey, Dad, someone left some money over here. And Dad's like, leave that alone. That's a tip. I'm like, what's a tip? Of course, he explained to me what a tip was. And from then on, every time I left a restaurant when I was a little one like that, I noticed the tips on the table for whatever reason, And back then sometimes it was just a little bit of change. Sometimes it was $1 or $2. It was really unusual to see a $5 bill laying on a table. And even on up into the early 90s, I worked at a little catfish restaurant around here. And those waitresses would get $1, $2 for a tip. So I don't know back then if there was a percentage that everybody expected, if they just gave you, what they thought you earned. But by the time I got old enough to go out on my own and a young adult, I'm going out to a restaurant that you might tip at, I was well aware that it was about 10% was what was expected. And I didn't think that just a flat rate of 10% was the way to go about it. I thought that if 10% was the expectation, well, you work to that expectation. And, I may have a little higher standards than that guy next to me. So, work hard at it. And anyone who didn't work up to your expectations for that 10%, well, they didn't get 10%, So I still wanted to do it based on merit. 10% being you met my expectations, And most people do, Usually you'll get decent enough service that you'll want to tip that 10%. So back then, I remember, you go out to eat, you take your girl out to eat, and it's just a run-of-the-mill kind of restaurant, nothing super fancy, a place that might have a steak on the menu, or they might have a chicken fried steak on the menu, and they may have a piece of salmon on the menu, nothing super fancy. But they got some appetizers and several choices of entree or whatever. And you could get in and out of there for about $30. 2 of you each have an entree, get you fried mushrooms for appetizer, and a couple of Dr. Peppers, and $30 for the bill, 10%. There's your $3 tip. Adios. Thank you for bringing me my food and my Dr. Pepper, you know. Thanks for being nice to me and not making me sit there too long before you took my order, because I get grouchy when I'm hungry. So, over the years, the service is not quite the same, because back then your waiter would take your order and bring you your food. Well, now they don't. They take your order and you don't see them again. Someone else shows up with your food, and 3 to 5 or maybe 8 minutes later, you know, you've been sitting there wishing for a salt shaker that disappeared with COVID, and your waiter will show back up. Hey, how's everything looking? And then you get to asking for the salt and pepper, you know, because you need a little salt and pepper on your macaroni and cheese. And, oh, sure, well, you know, I'll go get that. Well, hell, by the time they get back, your food's about cold. And you don't get quite as much of it as you used to. You know, and if you do, I mean, the quality definitely hasn't gone up on the food, but the price is about doubled, you know. So I can't hardly get in and out of a place, you know, me and my wife, for under $60. You know, 2 entrees, get your fried pickles and your Dr. Pepper, and it's $60 now, where that same thing used to be $30. And so at 10%, now that's a $6 tip. You know, so your tip's doubled. And so the price has doubled. And these waiters, and a lot of you who may hear this video probably think, well, you know, they're having to buy more expensive things too, so they need more money. Well, by gosh, they're getting more money, because it's a percentage based on the price of what I purchase. If the price of what I purchase doubles and the percentage stays the same, well, the tip doubles. But that ain't what they want. Now they want 20%. They want to double the percentage, which quadruples the tip. So I wouldn't mind giving a 10 of super nice waiter or waitress more than 10%, you know, if they earn it. Some of them do earn it, you know. I drink more Dr. Pepper than Forrest Gump. And, you know, if you make it over there to the table every time my glass empties, I'll give you about 20%, because you're going to walk your legs off filling up my Dr. Pepper glass. And I will give you more than that 10, probably closer to 20. But to expect the 20 while prices are as high as they are on things isn't something I quite understand here. I mean, your wage already doubled. Now, if you do 5 tables, if you're just getting a $3 tip, it's just back to $3, and you can do 5 tables in an hour, which I think that's probably doable at most places. 5 tables an hour, and all you get's a $3 tip. Well, that sounds like $15 an hour, plus the $2.13 an hour that your employer pays you. That's the minimum that they can pay you if you're a tipped employee per hour. So you get an hourly wage of $2.13, plus if you can do 5 tables for $3. Well, that's $17.13 an hour, and that's way more than federal minimum wage. That's starting wage on some decent jobs, you know. And the truth is, you're making way more than that on most of those tables. Even at 10%, you're making more than that on most tables. So you're looking at probably making, if you can do at 10% at today's prices, a table for 2, it's about $60 for that table. At 10%, that's $6 per table. And you do 5 of those tables in an hour, well, that's $32.13 an hour. Now you're making good money. Hustle, hustle. But you want double that. Well, my wage didn't quadruple when the prices doubled. I'm not sure why you think yours should. And I don't know, it's just something I was thinking about, and it just the math part of it crossed my mind. I don't know if a lot of people think about it that way, and this video will probably get me in trouble. Folks won't agree. I don't care, I guess. I don't want to pay you 4 times what I was paying you for for less service and worse food. I just don't want to. So, when I leave your restaurant, you may think I'm a dirtbag. Well, I appreciate your service. I appreciate all the Dr. Peppers you brought me, whether it was 2 or 8. I thank you for taking my order and telling the cook. And I appreciate you getting the salt and pepper over to me, even though it should have been on the table to begin with. But I don't think that you deserve 4 times the tip. You know, I live in this economy too. I need some of that money. And back to the original point, I sure don't think the guy at the service station deserves $1 for ringing me up and taking $5 from me. And all these other places that are doing that, you can't get it going anywhere nowadays without them trying to push you into giving them a little tip for something that they never got tipped for before. So anyway, y'all be mad at me. That's okay. I'm not really a jerk or a tightwad, but that's just something that bothers me. So y'all have a good night. Don't be too mad at me. Bye.